So, hello everyone. Also very warm welcome from our side, from our team. And we are very proud to be part of the EXCITE of Spryker. And of course, we would like to introduce ourselves at the beginning. So on my left-hand side, it's Johannes, who's heading the customer data platform team and the data science team. Beside him, it's Volker, who's responsible for the Spryker competence center, and myself, who's heading the consulting and data business unit. But before we start, I would also welcome our colleagues in Miami. I'm not sure if they're already present at 4 a.m. in the morning and ready to start together with you. And I'm very happy that you are in person here, but also streaming online worldwide. So, after a short, brief introduction of ourselves, I would like to introduce also diva-e as a digital partner. So we understand ourselves as a transactional experience partner. What does it mean? The one focus we have is to look on transactional experiences. That means transactions needs to be useful, needs to be efficient, needs to be focused, and not only transactions we implement, we are also familiar with the experiences which combines the transactions if you get an interaction with your brand. And that is our approach, where we think we are leading in the market as an e-commerce player, but also more than 800 people at our company are carrying this approach to their hearts. And we are also very proud that we are a Spryker partner worldwide, a Spryker consulting partner, as well as a Spryker Platinum partner. We have a huge team of more than 40 people, which are Spryker developers, and we are also focusing on B2B as B2C business model and approaches. If we look at our track record, I brought with us 2 of these use cases, and as you can see on the logo wall, there are various industries and brands where we implemented Spryker as a solution. Today, we would like to focus on, first of all, Jumbo and also Europa Möbelverbund, because these are cases which are very interesting and where there's a combination of a customer data platform as well as a Spryker implementation. But before we start, I would like to give you some insights on the change of a customer behavior. If you look at that chart and the customer behavior, there is a significant change in the customer behavior and customer journey. The times where the customer journey is predictive, where it is stable, are over. COVID accelerated all this in a dramatic way. And if you look at that chart, there's an increase of digital contact points or digital touch points by more than 20%. That means that the customer behavior changed, the brand loyalty goes down, and also the meaning of micro moments is getting more and more important. What do I mean with micro moments? Micro moments means that is a very intensive interaction across various channels with your brand, whether you're just looking at your mobile phone, an app of a brand, whether you look at the online store, or even you go to a physical store. And that micro moments are very important because they drive the increase of digital touch points. And every moment you get in touch with your brand is a special experience you need to provide to your consumers. And that is where it comes to strong customer experience and strong brand loyalty of your consumers. If you look at the market insights on that topic, here you can see some figures that underpin the philosophy or strategy I just shared with you. COVID-19 accelerated the change of brands. If you look at the United States, more than 45% of the consumers changed their brands. That means brand loyalty is going down, as I just mentioned before. But on the one hand side, if you're very perfect in having a very good engagement with your brand, by personalization, the sales will go up from 15 to 20%. And the fundament or the basement of all this is a technology architecture which enables a seamless customer journey. And because of that technology, it's possible to create that unique moments. And these unique moments get a very close bonding between a brand and a consumer. But how to meet customer expectations? That's a big question. I will follow up on the technical part. If you look at innovative technologies like Spryker, they're offering a lot of e-commerce capabilities and unified commerce capabilities, more than 800. And that is a fundament to create this micro moments and brand engagement as I just described before. And it's independently, if you're running a business, it's a B2B or B2C or D2C business. It's also independent what systems you're working with. The Spryker environment and technology enables you various use cases, as I will show you on the next slide. And of course, it's also possible to connect enterprise marketplaces with OOTB. And if we talk about unified commerce, that's about more use cases which are already installed or already on demand. Spryker as an innovative technology will provide. And if we look at this unified commerce experience, a lot of these use cases are already presented and ready to run with the Spryker platform. And there are a lot of use cases, whether it's click and collect, whether it's the store availability, which was very important during the COVID times. If my product is on stock, when it will be delivered or not. Also, the price offerings are very important. All these unified commerce experience are already available and implemented within the Spryker commerce platform. And if I'm talking of headless, then it means that it's separated from the front end to the back end. And the back end functions are connected with a Glue API so that you have a highly adaptive technology commerce platform. Now it comes to some use cases where you can see what does it mean and what is the experience for the client. Just some brief information about the Europe Möbelverbund EMV, which is maybe not that present in your mind. It's a big and larger platform for marketing and purchasing activities for smaller and medium-sized furniture retailers. The problem of the retailers is how to keep up with the digitalization momentum they have on the market. They don't have the possibility to accelerate their business to achieve the next level of digital maturity, though it was a plan of EMV to build up with them a platform called HomePoet. This platform enables the retailers to be digital present, to make this furniture available for them, digital as well as physical in their stores, and they achieved with this platform the next digital level, together based on a Spryker platform that enables their customer loyalty, but also enables the customer journey on the next digital level. Another example is Jumbo. Jumbo is one of the largest Swiss do-it-yourself chains with round about 550 million Schweizer Franken turnover and more than 65,000 articles in their shelves. And their challenge was how to get the next level of maturity in digital world as well. They started with a fact finder, which is a functionality based on a personalization and recommendation engine behind it. That means, for example, they are offering use case-based articles. If I want to paint a room, of course I know what color I want to paint the room, but what type of color, what brush I need to take, what tapes I need to take, what is the best time to plan that. That is all the content they aggregated with a fact finder together. So that you will have the whole and best equipment collected together for your adventure or your project you would like to run with the support of Jumbo. And this was driven by the data in the background of a CDP called, in that case, Exponia. Another thing they did is also very interesting because they have the challenge of smaller stores. Smaller stores are 400 to 800 square meters. So there is not possible to offer all this 65,000 articles in that size of store. What they did, they virtualized the shopping shelves and combined this with the POS. And for them, as you can see on the screen, it's possible to see some of the articles, but also to order them online. And this was a huge step to combine offline with online, but also having a consistent customer journey. If you look behind it, we think this magic triangle will drive your e-commerce and business. In the middle, it's a customer data platform where you concentrate unique customer profiles, which distributes the data to the commerce operating system, for example, Spryker, and enables you transaction and experiences. But also, it collects the data of ERP system, PIM system, data warehouses, where, for example, customer lifetime value, churn probabilities, all the data is collected, and you get a personalized offering at the front desk, at the front store, with Commerce OS, as well as marketing automation solutions that driving personalized campaigns to the clients. And we believe a combination of customer operating system, an e-commerce system, combined with a customer data platform is key to drive that digital business for the clients. And now I would like to hand over to Johannes, who will explain the role in that game of a customer data platform.
Thanks, Frank. Hello, everybody, also from my side. Creating unique moments, that sounds pretty great, isn't it? But it's also quite a complex process, I would say. But using a customer data platform makes it definitely much more easier for you. These days, CDPs provide a lot of functionality around data handling, from data integration up to data orchestration. In a nutshell, a CDP is more or less a system that combines and unifies a company's customer data from marketing, but also from all the other channels, and to be able to analyze the customer, to enable the modeling, and to optimize timing and targeting for your customer communication. By connecting all your touchpoints and channels and combining with like a multi-channel tracking and data stitching options, you get the possibility to create this one single view of a customer profile, or the so-called 360-degree view of your customer. Probably you heard about that already. And in addition, having the opportunity to use smart segmentation within CDPs, you also get the opportunity to orchestrate your data to all your channels, like social media or marketing, always using the right content and to make the right decisions to create unique customer experiences. Of course, this is a very brief and high-level overview how a CDP works. To go more in detail, unfortunately, we don't have the time here today. But the challenge is to find the right channels and the right data which you need in your business to create your unique moments. And is this worth the effort to go? We clearly say it's a yes. To point out the impact a CDP can have to your business, we had a closer look to a survey one of the CDP providers we are working with did. They asked about 100 C-level managers from their clients if the CDP they are using had a significant impact on their business in terms of ROI or ROAS. And the results are quite interesting. 25% said the impact was significant just because marketing and advertising activities were way more efficient than before. 19% noticed that they had huge savings in time and resources in the area of data management. Another 19% noticed an improvement just because they have this single view of a customer, all the data related to the customer, and that's the base to make good decisions. And 16% noticed remarkable improvements because they were able to better measure their KPIs and especially to make better decisions because they had this unified and combined data, everything in one. But this number sounds quite promising, right? Probably many of you are wondering if that might apply to my own business. Probably yes, probably not, but definitely not in the same way. Why not? it very much depends on the use cases and the scenario a CDP is integrated and implemented in. And to give you a bit better understanding or examples on that use case thing, we had a closer look to the most implemented or most interesting use cases from our own clients. Let's start with the first one, personalization. Of course, this is one of the main use cases when it comes to customer data platforms. Everybody probably does personalization. The question is how? We all are overloaded with information, advertising content and stuff, but most of that thing is not even relevant to us. So the CDP's ability to aggregate, process and unify data will give you the opportunity to always pick the right content to address this one single user and to create this, as we said before, this one unique moment for him, named customer experience. And that's the importance when it comes to personalization, and it will definitely have a huge benefit. We see it in our projects and clients in customer retention, brand awareness, and of course, conversion rate. Let's go to the next one, product recommendation. Of course, also quite an obvious one, but it could be way more than the normal, well-known cross-selling functionality everybody is doing. It all depends on the data we use to decide which products to recommend. So just imagine you not only have the product history or the purchase history in the shop, but also like additional information of the user, like browsing behavior, topics of interest, demographic data, or even social activity with your brand on Facebook or Twitter or wherever. And everything combining this together gives you the chance to decide way better which products is the user really interested in, what is his real full product affinity. And this is the thing you need to know to do product recommendation on a higher level. The next one is a more, let's say, advanced use case. It's not a typical one, but we implemented this one several times. We call it individual discounts. Everybody of you knows those regular emails, newsletters coming in and having this default free shipping costs or usual 25 euro discounts in it. Kind of boring, right? Because it's not necessary. It's not necessary to always have the same sale offerings over and over again. You could go deeper and more in detail. Imagine, let's provide a discount per user, only the amount where we know it's sufficient enough to convince him to buy. Maybe it's not necessarily 25 euros, maybe 10 euros are enough. For another user, 5 euros are enough, and another one needs maybe 40 euros, whatever. Just some examples. Or one step further, why not providing discounts per product, but only the products you know the user is currently looking at or interested in, not the default product everybody gets on sale. So do it more individual. Or on the other hand, if you know that he never used one of your discounts or vouchers, maybe he don't even need one, maybe he's expecting a different content for you. So listen to the signals and provide relevant content to the user here. Your conversion rate and also your upsell potential will definitely go up. Another quite interesting use case, we call them complaining users. Perhaps it happened almost to anybody here in the room. At least it happened to Frank recently. He did some online shopping, bought a new bike. Once it got shipped, he noticed it's broken. What a shame, not good. So, of course, what did he? He contacted the customer support, he filled out the complaint form, all the things. But literally, he not even finished filling out the form. He was getting the next newsletter and they asked him to buy new products, do some upselling. So you can think of how he was not amused, probably. It suddenly comes to your mind, of course, this shop only wants to make money out of me. They don't care about my problems. They want to do upsells and send me a broken bike, so that's not fun, of course. By having a CDP, of course, the shop could connect the support system or the CRM system to the CDP, and you could avoid exactly this case. Frank shouldn't get any advertising stuff as long as his complaint case is probably not resolved, because this is something that definitely reduce the risk that they will lose him completely as a customer for the future. Let's go back to a more Spryker specific use case. For our customer Jumbo, Frank mentioned before, we connected Spryker with the CDP system to provide the latest and up-to-date product data to Spryker. Why are we doing that? It's absolutely necessary to have the current catalog also within the CDP when it comes, for instance, to product recommendation. it doesn't make sense to provide recommendations for products which are almost out of stock or not even available anymore. Or even worse, providing products with very, very long delivery times to customers where we know, because it's part of the profile data, for instance, that they only buy products which are like same-day delivery or very short delivery times. So this is all the data you can use and combine to provide a better experience to the user. You see there are so many use cases. Those were just some examples I mentioned today. But we want to show you that using a CDP can definitely help you and support you in making your omni-channel experience for your users way better than before, and how it looks like when a Spryker system is connected to a CDP, and what is necessary to do there will be presented by my colleague Volker. He will go a bit more into the tech details now.
So, hello. So I guess at least some of you are running a Spryker shop or have customers running a Spryker shop or even in the marketplace. So if you are hooked by what Johannes just described you and you say, holy shit, I want to try this out, what do you have to do? We'll show that at least to a certain extent how we did it in the Jumbo case. So you can learn on what the technical steps are. There we connected a Spryker shop to Bloomreach Exponere. We'll also have a brief look on what the developers said on what's cool about doing this in Spryker. Of course, you can do it with other shopping systems too, but for Spryker, this was really nice to do. And we'll explore this a little bit. And the other thing is, okay, technology solves certain problems, but not all of them. And we'll have a look into one of those cases where you have to think a little bit harder to solve the problem. Okay, so if you look at the Jumbo shop setup, it's pretty straightforward. What we know out of other shop setups, it's the Spryker backend with that, the Jenkins relational database, and so on. The front end Eves. The only special thing here is that there's a React front end above. Oh, someone got a call. I hope it's important. And there's two ways how we connect the Spryker system to Bloomreach Exponere. The one thing is via the front end directly, via the Exponere web tracking JavaScript, which does REST calls to Exponere. It's just the straightforward thing. We'll don't go into very much detail about that. But the other part is directly from the Spryker backend to Exponere via the APIs that Exponere offers. So on the front-end side, there are certain actions that we take there, so search actions, page visits, and stuff like this, that are transferred directly to Exponere at the moment when this action actually happens. And the other part is, as I mentioned, the back-end part where we have the more complex ones like the checkout or if a new customer registers. And that's exactly where we have a little bit more detail into how does it look like in this setup, how is this event transferred to the CDP via registration or for the registration action. So you just go to the Jumbo shop and say, okay, I want to register. You enter all the data, your first name, last name, address, and so on. And once you click OK, everything that Spryker normally does happens, of course, in the backend, but we also create a transfer object. I think most of the developers in the room or those that are very close to the technical details know about this in Spryker, and put all the information in there that we want to have later on in the CDP. So the first name of the customer, his address, and stuff like this. And then it's transferred to the Spryker backend, where we decided, okay, we just want to collect it for a little while and keep it. So we created a new database table in the relational database where we store all the events that we want to or catch from the action that's going on in the system. It's again straightforward. Of course, it has an ID. We store the event type and we store the payload of the event for this case, or in this case, all the data on the customer that were entered during registration, and of course a timestamp. So in the next step is that we say every now and then we collect all the events that happened and package them and send them over to Exponere. So what do you do in Spryker? Yes, you create a Jenkins job that runs every few minutes and collects a certain amount. You don't want to overload the connection to Exponere. Takes a certain amount of data that wasn't transferred yet and transfer it to Exponere. And we do this, of course, using the Exponea APIs. It just creates a JSON, again, straightforward attribute value matrix containing all the information. And then you have the data in Exponea. And normally, it looks like this. And you can do all the cool stuff Johannes just said. So make your first analysis about this and provide services and other stuff about that based on that data. Okay, so that's only the first step. Of course, you have to do a lot more things, but I think you got a first inkling on how to do that with Spryker. And what's so cool about doing this with Spryker is that everything is already there. The concepts are already present. I know how to transfer things from the front end to the back end and over module boundaries via the transfer objects. I already have events. I already have queues. I just can use it. I don't need to think about these concepts again. So that's nice about this. You don't need additional components. That creates all the headaches when you roll this out. You don't have to install a new relational database somewhere. You don't need to install a Jenkins or some other job runner somewhere. You can just use it. It's already there. So that's really nice, and it's a straightforward implementation for developers. Okay, technology doesn't solve all problems, which we learned. Here, it's not just about getting the data from system A to B and collecting as much as you can. That's always nice as an IT guy, but it doesn't work. So it gets tricky, and for one case, here we learned that having users not only on their smartphones or on their PCs at home, but at the POS is quite a difference, because if you do identification based on cookie IDs, you get a problem, because people are using the same machine, and a lot of people are using this machine day by day for different actions. And the problem is that they get merged, or the actions get identified for the same customer, or you get mixed up customers, and that's a bad thing, because all the data then is just wrong. So our original approach was the straightforward implementation I just showed. And it was also done via a front-end event. The users just didn't match, because of what I just described. The solution to that was to change the identification from cookies to the email address, to transfer it from a front-end event to the back-end solution I just described. Collect all the data. We had to add a few more events, because when a user changes the email address, you have to do certain things in the CDP, just to don't mix up things. So that was, or had to be done additionally. And the result was that also those people that had or did actions at the POS, at these stations, were correctly tracked by the system, and we had the data that we needed. Okay, so that's it, what we wanted to present you. And now I think the stage is open for questions.
So thank you to you for this amazing opening of our EXCITE this year. So we already got some questions from the audience at home. For the audience here, the QR code is on your badges for Slido. So if you have questions, please scan it and hand them in via our Slido tool. And I will start with the first question we had. Is CDP and Spryker only the case for retail or also other branches? And if yes, which branches?
Well, I would say it's CDP is the case for every branch, no matter if it's B2C or B2P. We at diva-e, we are working with completely different branches. We don't have this one target branch. Customers are from automotive area into fashion, or even like banking or insurance stuff, are areas we are talking with. So there is no this one branch. Of course, e-commerce, everything B2B e-commerce related is most popular there where it's known from, but it also works in other places.
Even better. Okay, perfect. So another question was, how is CDP connected to Spryker? I think you already covered this, but maybe you can just sum it up again for people that joined a little bit later.
Yeah, I hope I covered it during the talk. So there are different ways of doing it. I think it also differs from system to system, but you just saw that there are some things that you connect in an immediate way, yeah? So via the front-end action right when it occurs, and other stuff where you collect events and then send it to a CDP once certain steps in the customer experience are reached. Yeah, and that's a pretty straightforward thing, as I've just shown in Spryker. So technologically, it's yeah, pretty logical to do it.
Perfect. Thank you.
I hope this answers the question, but otherwise, yeah, just get in touch.
So do we have other questions maybe from the crowd here? So
Maybe to the last question, I think the customer data platform is a very important integration layer of all your data. Yeah. Sometimes it's separated, whether it's in data warehouse, whether it's in the CRM system, and that is new, and it's a new driving force to integrate this all in the integration data layer. And to make this available, because of that, you can do the segmentation, whether you're B2B or B2C clients. On B2B, maybe it's a different segmentation, a prediction also of items, of users are doing that or this, and helping you to addressing the right marketing campaigns. And therefore, that is an important independent integration layer, saying, okay, a lot of connectivities. And if you implement a CDP, there's a huge amount of APIs. Normally, the CDP comes with 500, 800, 1,000 standard APIs. So that enables you the connection to different data sources and data pools.
thank you. So I think no more questions. So we close this first session of the day. And thanks, you three. It was amazing, and have all a great day.
Thank you.
Have a great day.